Thank you very much. My name is Odas Kubgimana. I'm the Africa coordinator for the International Coalition. This conference was really about to share about our upcoming Africa RAN Forum that we're organizing with partners like the African Union Commission, the IGAD, and the Africa RAN Policy Center. So the forum will be about really placing RAN at the center of realizing SDGs in Africa, because we see that RAN and secure RAN tenure is the only one of the major factors if Africa has to realize sustainable development. We want to bring several different RAN stakeholders on the continent together online to learn from each other, to share, and to make advocacy. There will be people from the civil society, there will be RAN users online, there will be people from the government. As you can imagine, the African Union Commission is made of almost all countries on the continent, so they are mobilizing their member states to join, and this will really be a space, a huge space where many RAN stakeholders will be able to share. We will share about several topics. We will share about topics like women RAN rights. There will be a panel that will be made of government representatives who will really be looking at progress and challenge in land reforms in different countries. There will be other panels, like a panel that will be looking at RAN data, because as I said, RAN data is a big problem, and if without data on how RAN is won and on how RAN is used, it's hard to really even talk about people-centered RAN governance. There will be several sessions. There will be a session. There is a topic that is really emerging, how a youth can be involved in RAN governance, and how to address the issue of youth access and ownership of RAN. This will be another interesting session that we have. So there will be a lot of sessions. You can access the agenda from my team. But this conference, as you have heard, was also, the forum was really the center of the conference, but it was also a conference to share broadly about RAN governance on the continent. We have heard about from the African Union Commission how they are really working to address RAN governance. You know that Africa is, I think, one of the few African Union is one of the few continental bodies that has come up with what we call the African Union Agenda on RAN, and this is a framework that really has a lot boosted RAN policy processes in different countries. So we've heard from Dr. Janet shared about it. We've also heard about IGAD. IGAD was here representing different regional economic communities. We have IGAD, we have ECOWAS, we have many others. But IGAD is working closely with the International Coalition really to address RAN rights matters in the IGAD region, but this also, of course, contributes to improving RAN rights and RAN governance on the continent. We've had also from other activists, the activists who joined us. There is an activist from the north of Africa, from Morocco. We wanted really to get the experience from, sometimes we focus on sub-Saharan Africa, but we wanted really to get experience from the north of Africa, and she really shared about the rights, the RAN rights of indigenous peoples. And this is an area that really is very important to ES Africa, because we believe that ensuring RAN rights and territorial rights to indigenous peoples is a key, especially if you want to address issues like climate change, because we have seen indigenous peoples already taking care of territories better than us. Thank you. And we are still looking for other partners to join the fund and provide more resources so that more defenders can be really supported and protected, especially when their lives are in danger. But there is another very important initiative that is like a regional or stakeholder platform on defending RAN defenders. So this is a program that is initiated by our members, but it includes many other defenders protection
actors, and this one is working with government, is working with regional institutions, is working with human rights protection mechanisms, either at the UN level or even at the African Union level, to really advocate for the rights of land and environment defenders. And this is more like a program.
Whether private or community land, there is a governance system that exists. There is a manner in which that land is managed, accessed, and of course owned, so to speak. So the first thing is to secure the participation of women in that governance system. And I'll speak from a very Kenyan perspective because this is where I work and I'm Kenyan. That's why for us it was very important to insist on the issue of not more than two that in the Community Land Management Committee that of course have been articulated in the Community Land Act of 2016 as the governance system for community land. The other thing beyond securing their participation, because that's just one thing and it's not an end by itself, is on the land use planning. You see, at the end of the day, this land is used communally, so they have to decide where they are going to put up their settlement, where they are going to put up their urban centers, which land will be grazing area, making sure that the priorities of women are actually featured in the land use plan. And I'm saying this because the priorities of men and women are very different. While men may think about, let's say, a slaughterhouse, the woman will be thinking about the hospital because anyway she has to go to the hospital to give birth and so to take the children. So the way men and women plan is different, and it is important to bring all these thoughts together when they are planning how they are going to use their land. So that's the next area of intervention for us as land rights advocates and activists. The other thing is the means of investment. It is one thing to allocate women land, and I'm saying this because we are doing a lot of work in Tana River where the land is communal and not registered, and I've seen that increasingly the cultural elders, the Gaza community, they are allocating a lot of land to women, bushland, but they need money to clear this land, to plow it, to plant. So the means of investment in terms of access to capital is very important, and that's why, of course, we appreciate the Affirmative Action Fund, because they can go for 50,000 and hire a tractor and clear this land and use it for their own livelihood. So that's also another area in terms of promoting women participation in community land governance. But most importantly, we know that this land is found in very arid and semi-arid areas, where also coincidentally the literacy levels for both men and women can be very low. And so constant education is important to this community, and this is where we would benefit most from the partnership of the media, because then you have the means and the capacity to achieve scale better than we would do as civil society organization. But even without that, we've still been hosting forum. We actually been hosting forum with the Ministry of Land, the gender focal points, to educate women on their land right, and especially now that the Kenya government is implementing the Community Land Act of 2016. You spoke about the tension between the customary law and the statutory law. Social transformation takes time. So it's about us staying on that course for a long time, but at the end of the day, the law is the law. When people are discriminated and violated because of cultural practices, the law needs to move in and secure and protect their rights. But it would be more important if we could mobilize enough political and social legitimacy for women land rights, and that's why us targeting male champions, targeting religious leaders, cultural elders, whether it is in the Western region, and I know even in East Africa, because ILC is working in many countries in Africa, that we had that strategy of targeting those who would be seen as gatekeepers and custodians of culture, and it's a dialogue that is really going very well, and we do hope that eventually we will be able to achieve that social transformation. But because this is a press conference for Africa, I would want Esther also to comment, especially for the region, for the IGAD region where she's working. Not strongly participating in the mapping process, they end up being shortchanged. Of course, there is this debate between registering community land and not registering community land, which one increase their security of land. We've seen communities that register their land, and because of that registration, they're actually able to trade it, and that was not the intention of registering the land. So for us as a coalition, really enabling the community to be able to map their land have their own resource map, showing them that this is how much we own according to our indigenous knowledge and according to our history, makes them more prepared so that by the time governments are moving in with their solution and implementing their act, they are able to engage with them almost at an equal level in terms of securing their land. SDG as an enabler, and Nigeria, just like Kenya and many other African countries, have signed up to the SDGs, which have targets, and some of those targets are around improving land governance, including undertaking legal reforms, but also ensuring that both men and women have the security of tenure. I don't think there is any African country that is reporting on those indicators currently, because we are still trying to make ourselves ready with the data, and for some time the UN, the custodian agencies were working on the methodology. But for us as the advocate, I think we need to use the SDG framework and the international pressure that we can draw from it to do advocacy, so that if there are any discriminatory laws and acts that we still have in our different countries, then we can use this global agreement and framework to push for the amendment. And I think Lucas mentioned that stakeholders are already on that, so it's for them to stay on, and of course until they get such law repealed. And Menka said, this is a comment, and it will be our close.
I just want to thank everyone here, starting from our speakers who really helped us to set the scene for this press conference. I want to thank all journalists, starting from those here in the room, but also those connected online, for this interactive session. And as you know, we are holding this press conference in preparation for the Africa Land Forum starting next week on 26th. It will be an online event. I hope my communications team will provide details and the online link for you to join us. We use this Land Forum as really the main event, but also the press conference was also meant to share broadly what we do and what our partners, IGAD, the African Union, and others do to address land governance matters on the continent. Again, as I said at the beginning, we see land at the center of any social development processes. And if Africa has to achieve, to realize SDGs, it has to address land tenure security. So that's really why we hope, we think this session and other sessions and initiatives we are taking are really at the center of the development of Africa. So thank you again, and we keep in touch as we head to the Land Forum. Thank you.
By the International Land Forum. Let me start by saying that the African Union has declared 2021 as the year of arts, culture, and heritage in Africa. The theme aligns with Aspiration 5 of Agenda 2063, which reads an Africa with a strong cultural identity, common heritage, shared values, and ethics. The aspiration envisages that Africa should have a strong cultural identity, values, and ethics. Africa should strengthen our cultural identity as a critical factor for Africa's emergence on the global scene. African people as well will imbue with a sense of their fundamental cultural unity, a sense of common destiny and African identity, and an African consciousness. And an African way of work is a key ethic and value where women play an important role, and in which traditional and religious leaders, including the youth, drive out of change and recognize ourselves. Land is a central theme in as Africans, land is not only an economic good that can be used to create wealth or freedom. Like other creative goods, land is our heritage for which our culture is based. As Africans, land is also the source of our identity. Land also holds invaluable evidence of our history as Africans, and therefore reminds us of processes that we have gone through to be where we are today. African land governance is at a very critical characterized by our youthful demographic. And the demographic changes, structural changes in conflict, environmental pressures, including climate change, the pandemic such as COVID-19, as well as conflicts on our continent are making us rethink how best this finite resource of land is used. The African Land Policy held as a precedent in 2021 on land policy in Africa, as Odas had mentioned, and the CLPA is being held under the theme Land of Safeguarding Art.
Sorry, Dr. Janet, we are losing you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
The theme of the Africa Land Forum is achieving sustainable development goals in Africa through partnership with inclusive land governance. The theme emphasizes the need to leverage strong partnership in our quest to have land governance that is inclusive of the needs and demands of Africans and with respect to achieve the SDGs. The SDGs, just like the theme in 2063, takes cognizance of the important land issues as well as culture. The African land is therefore linked to the African Union's developmental efforts. Let me also mention that in the recent past, the EU Commission has been working on the land governance strategy, which among other things, is meant to provide guidance to priority land governance issues that the EU Commission should advocate. Also to ensure that there are better synergies among African Union institutions and parties, as well as other stakeholders on matters pertaining to land governance, and also to guide the Commission's mandate in ensuring that our member states implement the EU agenda on land, and also track progress being made among our member states in relation to the implementation of the EU agenda on land, and also ensure that our member states are provided and protecting needed to secure and for their citizens, improve land administration systems, and report regularly on the status of implementation of the EU agenda. The African Land Forum of the EU Commission by ensuring that the voices of communities in Africa are heard even at the continental level. And moreover, the forum acts to ensure that commitments and frameworks related to land that have been adopted by our African Union member states are well understood and being implemented. And in conclusion, I believe that we need to take critical steps to ensure that we create stronger partnerships in the land governance sector. And we therefore employ organizations working on land to continue to scale the actualization of the EU agenda on land in partnership with the African Land Policy sector, including our regional economic communities, our AU member states, our civil society organizations, and other stakeholders. So thank you very much for this opportunity to share with you what the Commission is doing and how we are collaborating